To Israel now, where the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has claimed victory in the country's third general election in a year. Mr. Netanyahu has been seeking re-election at the same time as he's facing a corruption trial, and that's due to start in just a couple of weeks. Well, results from the Central Election Committee have put his Likud party on 37 seats, so comfortably ahead of chief rival Benny Gantz of the Blue and White Party. He's got 34 seats, you can see there. Our Middle East correspondent Anna Foster sent this report from Tel Aviv.
The path to power won't be a smooth one. Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud may have emerged from these elections as the largest party, but they still don't have enough Knesset seats to build a majority coalition. Israel has been here before, but its longest-serving Prime Minister is already making plans for the future.
Throughout the campaign, I have talked about what we hope to achieve in the coming years. Sovereignty over the homeland, terminating the Iranian threat, reaching a defense alliance with the US, and establishing peaceful relations with leading Arab and Muslim states.
This is only based on an exit poll. The votes still need to be properly counted and things could very easily change. But that didn't stop Likud supporters here celebrating what they see as a potential victory.
Over at Blue and White, the mood was muted. Their leader, Benny Gantz, addressed the party faithful.
I understand and I share the feeling of disappointment and pain for not getting the result we wanted. And if these are the final results, they will not bring Israel back on track.
After a year of political deadlock, it still isn't clear where Benjamin Netanyahu will find the extra seats he needs to form a government. He has another challenge too. In 2 weeks' time, he goes on trial to answer corruption charges.
For me, I can't see myself in this country in the next 4 years. Financially, socially, it's hard. I can't stand it that the Prime Minister has so many allegations against them.
Despite that, it appears that Israelis have delivered Mr. Netanyahu a mandate to govern. The question now is whether he has the negotiating power to end the year-long political impasse and see off a potential fourth election. Anna Foster, BBC News, Tel Aviv.
Let's get to Jerusalem now. The BBC's Yolande Nell is there for us. Coming out top is one thing, Yolande. Having enough to either govern on your own or form a sensible coalition is quite another. It's still a knife-edge situation, really, isn't it?
That's right. It's still extremely close. In Israel, we always have these coalition governments for the 120 seats of the Israeli parliament, the Knesset. Mr. Netanyahu has to command a majority of at least 61. So at the moment we now have official results coming out, incomplete, but suggesting in line with those exit polls that Mr. Netanyahu has clearly won more seats than his main rival, Benny Gantz, with his Blue and White alliance. Mr. Netanyahu is talking now to the leaders of other right-wing parties, his usual coalition partners, to leaders of the ultra-Orthodox parties as well, seeing what kind of coalition he could seek to build. But these will be very hard talks if, as the results suggest, the right-wing bloc hasn't at the moment got a clear majority in the Israeli Knesset. It's worth noting that these results are coming out with very high voter turnout, actually, of 71%. That was despite concerns that the coronavirus and voter apathy might put people off going to the polling stations. That hasn't happened. And things are so close, it might not actually be clear what the final tally of the seats are in the parliament until we have, in another day's time, the results of the elections after votes have been counted for more than 30,000 Israeli soldiers, diplomats and others as well.
Given the sense of sort of victory parade almost that we've seen in the pictures coming from Likud, and that this is the third election in a year with no defining result, do you think there is a sense of pressure among the other parties as well, frankly, to do a deal this time?
That's right. On the campaign, it came up a lot, but a lot of the political leaders really didn't want to see a fourth election. Since December of 2018, Israel has only had a caretaker government. Obviously, that holds up a lot of things in terms of legislation, leaves a lot of political uncertainty. But on top of that, we have now the legal uncertainty that if Mr. Netanyahu does, as appears to be the case, come out as the winner here, if he's the person who is asked by the president to put together a coalition government, there's also another unprecedented situation in the works, which is that in just 2 weeks' time, he is due to appear in court as the first sitting Israeli prime minister to face corruption charges. And it's really not clear what the future holds there as well.
There is a lack of clarity still in Israel. Yolande, thank you very much indeed.